stepped out onto the plaza with a grilling tutorial I think you'll appreciate. You'll feel confident to spend the money on extra thick end of summer steaks on the grill for Labor Day weekend, knowing you can get what you want, and that is the great char on the outside. They'll be just right on the inside. I'm with Tim Robinson. He's here to solve some of the most common grilling mistakes. And here we are, end of summer, and we're still messing up, right?
We've had all summer to learn.
I know.
But we've got one last chance on Labor Day. Let's make it work.
You're
right?
helping us turn it around. What would you say is the most common grill gotcha?
Well, certainly for steaks, one of the biggest gotchas is not paying attention to temperature, right? We recommend using thermometers to take the guesswork out of grilling. But another really big mistake is treating a thick steak like any other thin steak.
Okay.
So a thick steak like a ribeye or a T-bone, you want to be sure that it's perfectly done. And if I were to throw that directly onto the grills, it would be charred before the inside of that steak was even done. And no one likes a raw steak on the inside.
No,
right?
no.
So the solution is a two-zone method. It's called reverse searing.
Okay.
So do you see how this burner
This sounds fancy.
It
I'm
is
excited.
pretty fancy.
Okay.
This is a high-tech, solution. You got off over here. This burner is off. Both of these burners are on high. And what we do is we introduce the ribeye over here where there's no direct heat, and then we close the lid, and we allow the hot air to circulate around those raw ribeyes and gently bring them up to a doneness temperature before we introduce them to the searing temperature.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So we sear last.
We sear last. That's why it's called reverse searing, because normally we would sear first. Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're using temperature as our guide.
Okay.
We're trying to find an internal temperature of about 100 degrees before we make the switch.
Got it.
So let's check this.
You're pulling out one of our favorite grilling tools here.
The ThermoPen.
The ThermoPen.
Yep. So we're going to see where we are. We've got about 101, so that's perfect.
Okay.
So I'm ready to sear that steak.
Well timed, Tom.
I'm going to move.
Tim, well timed.
You're welcome. We'll move that over here to this. Doesn't that sound great?
Oh, there it is.
So now we're going to sear the outside. By the way, did you see how fast it was to measure the temperature with the ThermoPen?
It was quick and easy.
It's accurate to 0.7 degrees in 2 seconds, so you know you've got the right temperature.
So our char marks come...
The char marks, we kind of did that so it looked pretty for you.
Okay.
Normally the char marks wouldn't be there because it's kind of cooking low and slow over here.
We sacrifice that, though, for the perfectly cooked steak.
So it looks beautiful.
Fine.
And then we sear it over here. We keep turning it until it gets to about 125 degrees internal temperature. Take it off, and then it's going to rest up to a perfect doneness.
This is what I want to be eating Labor Day weekend. I don't know about you.
It. So do you see that pink edge to edge?
Yep.
But then you also have the crust.
Okay.
So it's the best of both worlds.
Love it. Let's move on to chicken. What's the challenge with chicken?
So you would think that a boneless, skinless chicken breast would be the easiest thing to grill.
No fail, right?
Wrong. That is like really hard to cook because of the strange shape.
Yeah, it's thick in some places, thin in the other.
That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So the biggest mistake is throwing that on the grill before first pounding it.
And I don't know why people skip this step. This happens to be my favorite step.
Give it a whack.
Really?
Yes.
I get the honors?
Yes.
How about that?
So it doesn't take long. It's kind of fun to do.
I mean, it's really therapeutic. I'm just saying, I feel better already.
And what that really does, you can kind of see you've got it started here, but here we have one that's already pounded.
Yeah.
Is you get that uniformity of thickness, and now we're going to get even cooking.
Now we know it's going to be good to go.
The second mistake people make is thinking they can press on it to know when it's done. You know, the USDA says 165 degrees, food safe for chicken, so you really want to use a thermometer again to check the internal temperature of your chicken.
Okay, kebabs. Let's end on kebabs.
Kebabs. Nothing says summer like kebabs on the grill.
I mean, let us celebrate one last time with a beautiful plate like this.
Isn't that
Please.
beautiful? All those colors and the different flavors that go in your mouth.
Right.
So the biggest mistake people make is that they mix the meat and the vegetables before they cook.
Oh, cook them separately?
They cook at different rates.
I am guilty, guilty, guilty.
They cook at different rates, so you want to cook them separately. That way you can control when you take them off.
Well, yes, I do. I never thought of it, but I absolutely do.
We have steak kebabs, we have vegetable kebabs, we have chicken kebabs, all on separate skewers, and that way we can kind of control. Now, you also note that we took a lot of care and attention to make sure that the chunks are about the same size.
Right.
So they're going to cook at an even rate.
Right.
We'll spot check again. Its temperature is everything. About 128 degrees in the steak kebabs, 165 in the chicken, and just get some blackening on the vegetables. And then we take them off, and then we can mix them on the plate.
And then mix them up, so you get the beautiful spread of color. Yes, please.
You want to leave a little bit of separation between each of these beautiful chunks so that the air, again, can circulate and give you that nice even doneness. If you were to put them all together like that, then you would have kind of underdone portions of the meat in there. But if we separate them out with about a ½ inch in between each one, then that air is going to circulate and get what you see here, which is a perfect doneness in between
So
each of
Julia
those.
Child says don't crowd the mushrooms. You say don't crowd the kebabs.
Don't crowd anything. Don't crowd anything.
I like it.
Except the crowd.
I like it. Except the crowd.
Which
Bring
will
them
come
in.
running for these beautiful
They
kebabs.
absolutely will. Hey, where can we get our hands on a ThermoPen?
Oh, you can go to ThermoWorks.com. You can get the ThermoPens there, any of our thermometers, as well as on the blog. We have all of our tips and tricks and recipes, everything I talked about today and more at ThermoWorks.com.
Well, you've sure helped us today. So in advance, happy Labor Day, my friend.
Happy
Thank
Labor
you so
Day to
much.
you and
Great
your
to have
family.
you.